Alright, so this is the unboxing of my new Ironman mini circular saw. I ordered it from Amazon for about $60, maybe $69. It came in a very giant box stuffed with paper. And then there was just this itty bitty box about the size of my hand. It was difficult to open. I had to pry the living daylights out of it just to get these two tabs to release the lid. So that's the only reason why I didn't start recording from that point. This is the manual for the mini circular saw. Just a few pages. Here is the dust hose. And finally, the circular saw itself. This is not battery operated. I would say this feels like it might be about 15 pounds. 15, maybe 20. Alright, so I will take this out of the package now. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know a lot about power tools. I'm not a weekend warrior. I ordered this specifically because I have a dresser where a couple of the drawers were broke down and they had warped underneath and there was a hole. Let's see if I can grab that. So I tried to see if I could fix it myself. I bought some particle board that was just slightly thicker than this. I didn't know how it might turn out trying to replicate this, but I went ahead and bought it anyway. I think it was meant to be used by artists for painting. So I took a razor and tried to scrape away at the shape of it until I got the same length. But even though it's super thin, it took me 2 hours non-stop just dragging my razor across it, trying to score the surface of it to finally get through to the bottom. And after that, I think I had really hurt my hand pretty bad, and I already have a hand injury, so I figured if I buy a mini circular saw, maybe that might help do the second one faster. So this is the circular saw. So this has a rubberized grip at the top and a little at the bottom. Not that your hand is going to reach around that far anyway. It is contoured to fit your hand, so there's a trigger and a safety button, I'm assuming, so you don't accidentally pull this out of your toolbox or tool bag and hit the trigger and accidentally cut something. The guide rail feels like it might be a coated stainless steel. Let's see, this is where you would change the angle for the guide rail, I'm guessing. Oh wow, this does not come with a blade. So here is where you would be able to adjust the depth, I'm guessing, so if you wanted to make a notch cut, you'd be able to do that. And here is where that dust valve would go, just like that. Well, looks like I almost missed the items that I was looking for. In the picture on Amazon, it had an Allen wrench so you could change the razor. Here is the Allen wrench. And I probably should pull this back out so I can show you. This lever here moves the guardrail, or the guard casing, I don't know what it's called, but that's most likely so you can put the razor, or the disc in here, the blade. This is where you would insert the Allen wrench, so you can go ahead and change it out. Yep, okay. The picture included what looked like a square, a T-square ruler. This is tiny. And I thought it was just the picture scaled down, but it's not. It's got metric on one end and imperial on the other. So your centimeters and your inches. And last but not least, we've got a blade. Hallelujah. Okay. We have one blade, exactly. Wrapped up pretty good, so it doesn't have risk of cutting through anything. There's a silicone bumper on the edge of this. And I think I'm going to be able to show you how this baby works. Yeah, just sticking the Allen wrench in it doesn't do anything. The motor will still go. So then I went ahead and pulled out the manual, and it says that you're supposed to hold down the hex key, which is this button here, and do the Allen wrench at the same time, and you're supposed to go clockwise. And I originally thought that that wasn't going to do anything, because when I first went to turn it, I could feel the motor turn anyway, but after a second it'll click. And then it goes ahead and comes loose, nice and easy. So it is not the button here on the handle, it's this one over here. That's the magic touch. So the flang and the screw itself come out. It's like a washer pretty much. So I went ahead and let that go. Oh, sorry. So that was a washer. This is the flang. These come as two separate discs. I'll go ahead and pull the bumper off. As you can see, the picture just has one number for this, and it is identified as the outer flang. Clearly there are two pieces though. When I unpackaged it and took it all apart, there were these two, the bolt and the washer. So I assumed that the two together were called the outer flang, but I had to think about it if there is an outer flang, there must be an inner one, even though it doesn't mention it here. And I went back to YouTube to see if anybody showed a close-up of this. And there is a video from YouTuber called Woodworking Next. I think the guy is speaking in Spanish and he's very, very low-toned. What he did was put this on the inside. So there you have it, the inner flang and the outer flang. Okay, so I'm going ahead and wind back the rail so it's not blocking the the blade. The disc fits right on top of the inner flang and the spindle. I put the outer flang on top so it shows on the outside. Go ahead and put the nut back in place. And I am going clockwise this time. Is it clockwise? Counterclockwise. So let's test it. Now the guardrail can move freely, and so can the blade. Let's get this a little bit tighter. Ta-da! And so now the blade is not catching on this. The arrows are pointing in the same direction. Let's try this again. Oh, there's one other thing. After looking back at this, this is screw for the guide fence. This is a guide fence. So it goes through these openings. And that is so this can ride along the side of your wood piece or whatever it is that you're cutting. Which is much, much better than what I was going to do with that ruler. The T-ruler is something that I saw on YouTube. Somebody else did that with their mini circular saw. But since I don't have the giant one that he had, I think he used a level, actually, a really large level. I'm going to go ahead and use this, especially since it came with the circular saw. Okay, so I'm all set up. I've got the guard fence on with the ruler. I can't remember the names from the manual now, but let's see how I need to plug in. You might be asking why I did not ask my dad or one of my do-it-yourselfer cousins how to do this. And the answer to that is I don't have the patience to wait for somebody to have the time to come teach me. They're all really, really busy. And I want to get this done once and for all. Okay, so back at it. Here we go. Oh, and yeah, I should have on some hearing plugs and eye protection, but I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, that looks like a perfect cut to me. Not much jagged edge. Alright, so let's scoot her over and try it again. Alright, so I've got it readjusted in order to make sure it it doesn't wiggle around while I'm screwing this down, I have to hold this between my legs, right between my knees, and tighten this down with the Allen wrench, which, by the way, doesn't fit anywhere into my tool. So I just keep it somewhere handy, I guess. And after I've gotten it tightened down, I want to make sure that my lines that I've drawn line up with that, so that I always see the line right on the inside of this. Alright, so next cut, I'm going to turn my board around, my scrap board, because I'm running out of, no, let's just keep it here. Okay, so I'm going to clip here and here, since I don't have anywhere else I can put it. Let's draw a line to cut through. And again, this is just for practice. So what I'm saying is, if you don't just go through with it, the blade tends to catch and it'll knock the arbor screw loose. I think that's what this is called. And then you have to retighten it to get it to go down. So if you're gonna go for it, just go for it. That's what it looks like. Here, I will have to readjust my guard fence so that the notch lines up right where I need it. And this is always difficult for me because it wants to wiggle around. And I really know how to fix that. I'll get it close, tighten it down. Looks like it lines up as I scoot it back, and let's go. Right on the line. Alright guys, that's it. Hope you have a good one, and I hope that this video was helpful for you.